thank you for being so patient. It's not like it's hard, but it's just getting it set up, and once you do it, it's not an issue. So anyhow, I started out with him not putting any gear on him at all, because he was extremely tight in his upper band, and he pretty much flossed my teeth with his ear hairs. So there wasn't really a whole lot of point in trying to educate him to go down with the mechanics when he had so far to go just to be relaxed enough to accept the mechanics. So that's where I'm at now. He's finally suppled and softened and lengthened his top line enough that I can now work with a fork. I don't use the fork. It's a little tighter today. I didn't put it on the right number, and too lazy to get back down and fix it. But usually all I use it for is just as an overcheck. It is not to pull his head down. I do not want to prematurely pull his head down, but I don't want him inverting on me either. So that's why it's at the length that it's at. And like I said, it's a little bit tighter than I normally have it. We're working mostly walk and trot. We have started incorporating the rope, and that's pretty much a run right now. And what we're working on right now is, as you can see, he wants to kind of go full bore. He wants to strain into his chest and brace. That's still resistance in the top line as well as postural alignment. So we're working on what I would call wiggly shoulders, inconsistent power. So he's like driving a car for the first time, and your foot's a little too hard, and then you back off, and then it's too hard, and then you back off. That's what his energy drive from behind feels like. Feels like an accelerator that keeps getting pulled on or pushed too fast and then too slow, and then too fast and then too slow. So we're working on consistent gas, if you want to say. We're working on not overturning the wheels. He likes to overturn his front end. Shoulder go here, shoulder go there. Turn too quick, don't turn well enough. We're working on all those little things down to the degree of keeping a very alignment in his body. Like right here, he's going out his outside shoulder, doesn't want to come around with both shoulders. And so even though you don't see me doing a whole lot, I am actually doing a lot of little movements, little corrections to help him out. Bringing that left shoulder around, I do some little small tugs. They're wrist, fist movements. So I put my reins at a length that I can handle it. He's a little more powerhousey today. I probably should have lunged him, because he's been very relaxed and mellow. So this little powerhouse thing that he's got going today is not his normal. So I'm just going to work with it, because you know what? You're going to have days like this as well as good days. So right here he wants to go back to the door. So he's popping some attitude, which a little man like him has little man syndrome. He can pop some attitude. So I'm going to encourage him to relax the tension in his poll and his jaw and force his chest to adjust underneath him and accept this. Okay, so he started to, and then when he dropped his neckline, he started to accelerate, because he wants to use his neck and head for balance even yet. And he needs to learn not to use his neck and head for balance before he's going to have any form of really nice lope. So even though it might not today look like there's been a ton of progress, there actually has been a whole lot of progress from when I first got on. When I first got on, it looked like one of those water noodles, and like I had sat in the middle of it, and the noodles like popped up on either side of me. That's how inverted he was. So this is a very dramatic difference in his posture, as far as he is now not an upside down banana. he's more like, he's getting closer to the point of being more of at least a flat line. There we go, starting to think about, there we go, good boy, that's a little more normal. Good boy, this bracey, chargy stuff isn't really normal. So we're probably hitting another stage because I have started to ask him for another level of collection. Because he has learned enough in the jog to know what I want, he might not do it consistently as far as stay in that posture for very long because he hasn't developed the muscle strength and muscle memory yet to carry it without my manipulation. But he is at the level knowledge-wise and ability-wise to start minor collection. Every time he gets his shoulders in alignment and his chest relaxed and his back just kind of soft and his pull not resisting, we ask for just a little bit of collection, which is encouraging him to think about what I call long and low, bringing that pull down toward his kneecaps a little bit more, just to encourage the withers to round up and back, to open up and round back. At the same time is keeping the drive from behind so that when the withers round back and up, he doesn't displace his back end and leave it in the dirt behind him. Come around the corner. Come on. So we've been starting to work on smaller circles, circling in, figure eights, serpentines, anything that will force him to have to get a little more shoulder control. I want his shoulders following me. I want him turning through his whole entire rib cage, back and withers, rather than just turning through the neck. So he has to bring the shoulder around the corner, which means he is starting to have to learn to collect a little bit in his shoulders and chest in order to accomplish the proper kind of turn, which is through his core, without leaving a shoulder blade sitting on the turn. Good boy. By doing that, we're bringing in the alignment. He's bringing his body back underneath himself. He's starting to settle down mentally. He's starting to accept it, commit to it. This also gives me opportunities to give him cues with my foot and start educating him that a foot just means posturally adjust this or engage your hindquarters. It does not mean speed up the shoulders and therefore let's go faster, you know. The feet are not supposed to talk to the shoulders. They are supposed to guide the rib cage with posture issues or direction, as well as engage the hindquarters. The reins are what your reins in your seat help encourage the shoulders and neckline to be aligned so that they follow suit. You can't have aligned shoulders if you don't have drive coming from behind. Drive has to be consistent and even. The stride is totally determined. Consistency only comes from the same length of stride or the same style or both. Okay, both. Same style and same length of stride every single step. It's when you have 5 strides that are big, deep, long, good, gorgeous strides, and then you got a couple of shorter steps in between here and there based on a reaction to maybe you asking them for something, or they get distracted and they look up and their shoulder pops out and it changes their alignment, so now their stride got adjusted. It's a change in the stride length and where it lands that makes a difference in their consistency, because that drive determines so much. Otherwise, it's like the engine revving and slowing down and revving and slowing down. this is where we're at right now, is working on consistency of the stride length and style or swing, and where it's swinging from in the body. Is it swinging from the knee in the front end, or is it swinging from the shoulder on the front limb? You know, for the hind limb, is he swinging by lifting his hocks and being more hockey, or is he swinging through his hip and stifle? That's what you need to find out. All of that is determined by, you know, where his back and rib cage are in conjunction as well. So now we're going to just kind of play, change it up a little bit, work our way down this way just a little. Okay, so I just got the 10-minute mark. So here's where we're at right now. This is not what I would consider a good ride on him, because this is one of, you know what, we all have bad days. Who gives a rip? It's going to happen. You're never going to have perfect rides all the time. He's given me about 4 really nice rides in a row, and now he's copping a little attitude because we came on this end of the arena, so that's a little closer to going out. So this shows little man syndrome going on here again. So anyhow, this is a ride of which he's showing a little more resistance, actually a lot more resistance than he has been, and so it's good for you to be able to see him on, if you want to say, a bad day, so that if you happen to come, you don't have one image in your head and then get really disappointed if he does have a bad day. You'll only be happy when you see him on a normal day. So this was just for you to be able to see an update on Simon and where he's at right now. And I'm not going to... Stay here. We got to work on that a little bit more. I'm working so much on consistency and throughness right now that our woe needs a little more work. But I hate to get them too used to the woe before I get some throughness, because it's kind of an opposite action there. But that we will start incorporating very soon. I don't want to go too long without that. He is figuring out the throughness pretty well. So anyhow, just want to give you a little bit of an idea of what we're working on. I will send another video at some point with us doing some lope work. Right now I don't think it's worth it. You know, I just did my first real lope yesterday. Up to this point it's been basically lunge line work and encouraging him to drop his neckline while he lopes and not scramble on the end of a lunge line. It took us quite a while to get him to be able to lope, actually just gallop at the end of a lunge line, because he just kind of trotted real fast, if that makes sense, and braced up into the neck and didn't seem to know how to lope a circle. He lopes nice out in the pasture, but boy, you put him on a bend on a limited space with a lunge line and everything goes to pot then. So anyhow, that's why it's taken me this long to get to the point of deciding to lope, because now at least he's got something that makes me feel like I won't, you know, have a scrambler underneath me. So we will update you with that as soon as I feel like it's worthwhile. And ooh, let's see if this was a little better. That's a little better. That's a little more like it. Good boy. Another step backward, just gently there. Yep. Good boy. There you go. All right. So hopefully that gives you a little feel of your guy. You know, it's been a little bit. He's trying really hard to grow. He's doing more filling out right now than actual growing. And he's learning how to gain some confidence. He is the low man on the totem pole. He gets picked on a lot. So, you know, he's got that syndrome where he gets a little attitude with me, but he's, you know, pussycat in the pasture with the others. So building that confidence around other horses is huge, and it does carry into his riding as well. He gets a little defensive, and when he has the opportunity to let me know how he's feeling, he does, because he doesn't get to do it any other time. So anyhow, overall, I like him a lot. He's actually, I've seen a lot of his movement out in pasture or under saddle, and he's going to be a really cute little mover. So you're going to be very happy with him. He's smart. He's a thinker. We just got to make sure that he's not acting too smart. We don't need a smarty pants on our hands either. So, so yeah.